So investing in yaks, right? What a crazy idea. Well, I've come across, because I study this stuff, I've come across some very interesting and kind of bizarre syndications that people do. And I want to share three of my favorites with you that are just unique that I think a lot of people don't know about. And so again, it's amazing. You can syndicate just about anything. And there are investments that have unique characteristics. So it's important to look at it and see, and not always just count things out because they're a little different, but it could be something that you're like, hey, there actually is some real upside here. Let's jump in, and I'm excited to share this with you. Okay, so hello, my name is Bronson Hill. I'm the CEO of Bronson Equity. If we have not met, excited to get to know you and have you be part of this video and our community as well. We have about 200 million in multifamily assets. We're also doing things like ATM machines, car washes, oil and gas. We also provide a lot of education. We wrote this book called Fire Yourself, which I'm really excited about. You can get it at Amazon, and it talks about how to replace your working income with passive income in 3 years or less. So let's talk about the three most interesting and I think unusual, bizarre syndications I've seen out there. So one is an airplane syndication, right? So I've seen multiple of these where people syndicate purchasing of an airplane and being able to lease it out to an airline or to a group, right? And typical returns for this are kind of in the 8, 12, 15% range per year. And it's very interesting, right? And you just think about, like, what does that mean for you as an investor? Like, is a perk maybe that you have a seat with your name on, or you can ride whenever you want. Everything's negotiable, I'm just saying, right? But again, there's reasons why this could be deemed a very safe investment. But again, having an airplane that you can say, oh, I own an airplane, or I'm a part owner of an airplane. That's kind of a cool thing to do. The second thing I find is really interesting is South American or Central American coffee farms, right? So coffee farms, typically, they're available for foreigners to own. You buy the land, they yield coffee each year. You get some of the coffee as well. It's definitely a perk, and you own the land. And so some people actually have a belief that in the US, if things got really difficult, if you owned land in Central or South America, you could go there and go live there, go visit or whatever, and you actually own this land. Now, there's also chocolate or cocoa farms that exist like this as well. There's other sorts of products and other sorts of farming land that's out there to buy internationally. So there's a lot of benefits there. Some of the challenges, and I would say some of the risks, are when you invest internationally, it carries more risk, right? So it's a little more risk when you're kind of looking at deals that are overseas. But there are a number of them out there. It's very interesting, and again, something out there. Now, this last one that I want to share with you is probably my favorite of all these, and it is yak farming, right? So to have a yak farm or to be invested in yaks specifically, and you really wonder, like, what is a yak? Well, you can see this is what a yak looks like, right? So it looks kind of like a cow, like a very hairy cow, right? So like if I were a cow, it'd be like me with an afro, or like with the long shaggy hair, right? All the leaves are brown. And so that's what a yak is, right? So I guess there's people that raise these. They raise them. I met a guy once who was raising these. He actually told me, he said one of the challenges of raising yaks is that when you're raising them, you actually have to stand up to them. They're kind of bullies and they're kind of mean and they're big. They're really big. But he said they will at some point, they will charge you. They'll get going full speed, 20 miles or 30 miles an hour, this big yak, and you have to stand there and basically just not back down. And so, anyway, part of yak, I guess it's also facing your own fears and raising yaks. But they farm them for wool, for meat, for dairy. Returns, 5 to 9%, could be a little higher. But not only do you get a cut of the profits, but you might also get a cut of the beef, right? And beef is what's for dinner. So anyway, very cool one. So I want to talk just for a minute about the benefits of diversifying into unique assets. So I talk about my background. I was an investment advisor. What's called a registered investment advisor, an RIA. I call myself now, I'm still an RIA, I'm just not registered, I'm a recovering investment advisor. And so I found that, looking at Wall Street assets, Wall Street doesn't always serve people well. So that's why when you look at Main Street assets, the returns tend to be more generous. There's more things that are very positive there. And I just love being able to help get things out of Wall Street into Main Street. Whenever something is financialized, meaning it's publicly traded or it's a part of these big firms that are doing these, it changes the way the investment works. And so for me, I really look for things that are a little bit different. One example of this is we found this product called life settlements. A life settlement is actually a life insurance product. So again, people take out insurance for the life. Like if I die, then my heirs get the benefit. Well, these specific products are a type of insurance where they can be resold. So if somebody has been paying these premiums for years, sometimes it's a former CEO, it's somebody who had a business, it's somebody who's wealthy, and they either can't afford the payments anymore, or they don't want it anymore, or the family can't afford it. So these, sometimes people are in their 80s and they'll end up selling their rights to the policy for 20, 30 cents on the dollar, and these people have sometimes 5, 7 years left of life they're expecting. You don't know when someone's going to live, and that's the variability of it, right? But then the investor picks up the premiums and they get the benefit when the person dies, right? So it's like the death benefit is no longer tied to the person. They get some cash value for it now. So it's interesting how that can work. But again, whatever you invest in, I think this is kind of the thing to kind of tie it all together, is that it doesn't matter what you invest in. What matters is what your investment goals are. I've had over 2,000 calls now with individual investors like you that are trying to figure out, how do I reduce my taxes? How do I grow cash flow? How do I have appreciation? How do I accomplish my financial goals or leave a job? Or how do I do these? How do I fire myself, right? And so that's really what it's all about, is figuring out what the investment does. Does it have the parameters that you want? And so those are important. So steps really to getting involved in unconventional syndications or unconventional investments. I would say the biggest thing is these come from connecting with people that are in these fields and people that you know and trust. One of the most transformational interactions, or I guess, most transformational relationships you have as a passive investor is other passive investors, other people that have invested in yaks, have invested in life settlements, invested in other things. And then sometimes really unique deals come to you. I had through a friend, I had somebody, one of their relatives had a deal, and they were looking for a 50%, well, it was basically, and it wasn't a lot of money, but it was a 50% return in about 6 months. And I was like, hey, that sounds great to me, right? That's a very high return. I saw it as a fairly low risk thing. And so I got in. And so again, how I hear about these deals sometimes is just by being in touch with other investors, going to events, telling people, hey, I'm interested in looking at deals. And you never know what'll come up. So again, sometimes you may not, just because you haven't done it, or maybe you don't know somebody's done it, doesn't mean you shouldn't look at it and really understand it. One of the big things we talk about in the book, about this secret system to analyze any deal, and you can go on our YouTube channel and find that video that talks about how to vet deals. But it talks about when you come from the market, the operator, and the deal itself, what are the one or two ways I can, what's the one way, how can I make money here? Like, what's the plan? And then what's the one or two ways that I could lose money? Because there's always a risk to every deal. So if you can understand what you think that risk is, or what the risks are, or ask the operator, what do you see the risks as? And then just see what they say and see if you can really understand kind of how that deal is going to work. So to wrap this up here, I would say just be open to different types of deals, because you never know. I never thought I'd be doing ATM machine investing. We've raised now over $16 million for ATM machines. It's become the most predictable passive cash flow investment that I've done. It's become basically my favorite investment, right? We're doing stuff in the oil and gas space and we're seeing great results there. So, again, it's just being open to other things that you haven't really thought about or haven't gotten into before. So I'd love to hear in the comments actually below, what are some unique things that you've looked into or you've invested in that have done well for you? That'd be a great conversation to get going in the comments below. And then check out this quote. It says, it's from Howard Marks. Warren Buffett, is a peer of Howard Marks. This guy wrote a book called Mastering the Market Cycle. And it says, to beat the market, you must hold an idiosyncratic or non-consensus view. Right? So you must hold a non-conventional, or a view that's a contrarian view to what everybody else is doing. That's how you're going to beat the market. How you're going to do well is by doing things when other people are not doing them. And then I wrote this, I created this video actually about the new rules of investing. In the last 2 years, particularly real estate investing and a lot of alternative investing has completely changed. And so there's a few new things you need to know about. If you haven't checked it out, check out this video up here. You're gonna love it. And then again, if you haven't joined our investment club, I'm so excited. I get so excited talking about this because we're just seeing some phenomenal deals come through. And if you're not on our deal list, you're not hearing about these deals. So we're doing things in multifamily and oil and gas, ATM machines, car washes, and some other creative things that I not even able to mention yet. So check that at the link below, or you can go to our website, bronsonequity.com, click the join button. We'll start a relationship with you. I appreciate you taking the time to educate yourself. It truly inspires me. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.